Hi everyone and welcome to Club 1 episode 24 of Rolling in the Isles, an FM20 British Isles Journeyman series with me, the United City FM. Welcome to this final day of Season 3. It's come right the way down from a 36 game season down to basically a 1 game season. There are 3 teams involved in the relegation of the Premier Division of Ireland, and we are one of those with Sligo and Shelbourne. And today we play Shelbourne in the last game of the season. You can see there's 2 points separating the 3 of us. If we win our game, then we are safe. If we lose or draw, then anything can happen depending on what Sligo do. And also depending on whether Shelbourne beat us, etc. So it's a really important crunch game. If we just recap the season slightly and go to schedule, not scouting, for goodness sake. Oh, God dear. You can see we started so poorly, but we were not expected to be in this division this early. We got promoted early. The board knew that we were going to be challenged and it was going to be tough, so they were never unhappy with how it was going. They just asked that we tried our hardest, and we were doing it as hard as we could. But we lost about the first dozen games in the Premier Division and found ourselves completely adrift at the bottom of the table. And then the fight back started. From May onwards, you can see that we became a bit more competitive. We moved the team about a bit, we reshaped the team, we changed some of the roles in the team, and it just made a bit of a difference at the right point. And we went on a bit of a more consistent run through sort of May and June time. July wasn't so good itself. We went on a bit of a losing streak again. But then look at August. A couple of games in the Premier Division, a couple of games in the Cup competitions, and all of a sudden we were in with a shout of staying up. And a couple of very key results in the latter part of September really helped us. And since the last time you and I were together, which was the 1-1 draw against Sligo a couple of games ago, we've had a very good win against Waterford. I expected us to beat Sligo, I think, and then probably draw against Waterford, but the results were flipped from each other, really. But it was a really positive win against Waterford. Then pretty much a 2-0 loss that I kind of expected against Cork City, who have just been crowned the champions of the Premier Division. And that leads us into today's game against Shelbourne, who are one of our direct rivals in this battle to survive the relegation drop. So it's, as I say, gone from a 36 game season right the way down to a 1 game season. You can see that most other teams now have played their games. It's only the 2 games that are left for the battle of relegation, and it's Shamrock Rovers versus Sligo and Cobh Ramblers, ourselves, versus Shelbourne. So let's go and check out the team. The team is pretty much as you'd expect, other than one issue in that Marku is ineligible because Shelbourne is his parent club and we've loaned him from there, so he can't play against them in this particular game, which is slightly unfortunate. But O'Riordan has been playing a bit recently anyway and has been looking reasonable doing it, so it's not the end of the world. I was able to rotate a little bit in the last couple of games just to give everybody a little bit of a break here and there leading up to this crunch game. And so you can see that everybody in terms of on the bench and in the first 11 is now pretty much match fit and has got reasonable conditioning. So I'm more than happy that we've managed the team well to get them to this point, and it becomes a bit sort of more down to them really now as to how they cross that white line and get on the pitch and do their job. So the team for today is going to be Horgan in goal, Dooney at right back, Kane at left back, O'Riordan and Best in central defence, Hurley and Sengair in central midfield, Turner on the right and Ratty on the left, Dolan and Curran up top, with a bench of Lyons, Fleming, Buckley, Spalek, O'Driscoll, Power and Dunn. So let's get into this final game of the season and see what happens. So in terms of team talk, I've passionately said to the players that we can ensure our survival with a win here, so let's give our fans something to cheer about. It didn't quite get the response I was hoping for. I was hoping for a little bit more of a hoorah kind of thing. We had a team meeting in the middle of the week, and some of them thought I was putting too much pressure on them just by saying that we could, survive if we won our game, so let's give it everything we could. And so I was a little bit concerned by their lack of sort of mental strength, really, but that's kind of the level that we're playing at the moment. Yeah, they've listened at least, mostly, and some seem deep in thought. So hopefully it's seeped in a little bit and we can produce a performance here. The positive is that we're at home, so hopefully there's a decent sized crowd for us, which you can see there. Look, lots of more fans in the stands than normal, I would suggest. And that's got to be encouraging for our players as we try and survive this season in the Premier Division, where we were expected just to get relegated and not be able to stand a chance, really. So if we could do it just at this last second and actually stay up, that would be amazing. So here we have an opportunity down our left-hand side, but a loose ball, and Shelbourne pick it up in the midfield and come back at us and have a first strike at goal, and it's just hit the woodwork and come back out again, but they've picked up the loose ball and set up another strike at goal, but a good block. And that time it's cleared into the stands and we survive. At 19 minutes we survive the first onslaught. Here's Turner for us down this left hand side with a free kick. Goes to the far post. Header slightly over the top, but not far wide, but it was far wide enough not to go in the goal, and that's all that matters. And but it was a good opportunity for us. Turner down the right hand side now. Not quite sure what happened there. He just seemed to sort of keel over for no particular reason. Is King going to get himself sent off? He is. Oh, wow, that's something pretty impressive, isn't it, from our point of view? Keith Keane, after 30 minutes or so, gets a second yellow card and gets himself sent off. And they've already got a couple of other yellow cards for players as well in their side. So they're going to have to be a bit careful. But that's got to help us tremendously. But with 10 men, they come down their left-hand side, get a decent cross in, and the header, looping header, goes slightly high and wide and doesn't ultimately challenge the goalkeeper too much. But again, they come back at us down this right-hand side, get an opportunity from the edge of the box, and again hit the woodwork. It's, for 10 men, they're certainly piling on the pressure, aren't they? I'm hoping that come the second half, as we get through to half-time, in the second half, they'll begin to tire a little bit, and we can take advantage of that. But again, they come down now this right-hand side, try and get a cross in, but it's well blocked by Kane, who comes away with the ball, and look at him run down that left-hand side, clears a lot of the pitch then, but runs into a brick wall of Farrell in their defensive area, and again Shelbourne come away with the ball, and it's a little bit disappointing ending to a very good tackle and then sort of run down that left-hand side by Kane. But that leads us into half-time. You can see all the stuff that's been happening in the first half really is lots of bookings down this right hand side here on the screen for Shelbourne, which is positive for us. Keith Keane getting sent off, but they've got a couple of others on yellow cards, which they'll have to be careful of in the second half. In terms of the match stats, you can see they're having more attempts at goal. That's shown in the highlights as well, wasn't it, really? They dominated the highlights, and they've had a bit more possession than us, but not a lot. It's quite even in terms of possession. So what are we going to do here? I think we're going to have to kick them up the bum a little bit and just assertively suggest something that, hopefully makes them feel like they've got to give something in this second half. Let's think. Let's go with this is a big match for us and even bigger for the supporters, so give them a good performance. Again, it hasn't drawn out the motivation that I was hoping for, but that's what it is. So we'll go straight into the second half. There's no reason for us to change anybody at this point in terms of conditioning and match sharpness, so that's positive. It just becomes about performance now, and as I say, hopefully in the second half we can dominate a little bit as they tire, hopefully having to play with 10 men. But that particular corner kick from Turner wasn't very good. Didn't even clear the first man, but we win the loose ball there, and again Turner down this right hand side has an opportunity, and is that going to be another yellow card for this time for Ledwidge? Is he going to get himself sent off? He is. 2 players sent off just after half time, and that's really got to hand it to us. Surely we can't have asked for much more than that. We've now got to really take advantage of it. So I'm going to pause the game just briefly and change this and go very attacking and see if we can really have a go at them. So you can see that we're going to win a lot of those defensive balls, you would hope, and then we've got to really find a way to build up our play and get through this defence. And on that occasion, it's Turner, and there's the opportunity. So it started on the left-hand side. The cross came in deep to Turner, who cut it back into the centre of the penalty box. And it's that guy again, Sangaré, who approaching from midfield gets another really, really important goal. And he's been an absolute star for us this second half of the season. Hanratty with the cross over to Turner, who heads it back in. And on the half volley, Sangaré smashes it home, and we take a 1-0 lead, and surely this is going to go well for us now from this point. We can't have asked for much more, really. Shelbourne have shot themselves in the foot totally by getting those 2 players sent off, and we're now at 70 minutes, so let's just go and see if we need some fresh legs anywhere, etc. What's happening with our team? You can see Hurley's not playing particularly brilliantly, and neither is Dolan, but to be honest, I don't even know whether I want to change anything at this point. I think I'm going to leave it as it is. There's some apprehension, but we've got 2-man advantage and a 1-goal lead. I just want them to see this game out, really. So I'm going to leave it exactly as it is and just let this group of players play the last 10-15 minutes of this game out and see if we can get this win. So again, it's down the left-hand side, deep cross, but it's half cleared to Hurley, who picks up the ball for us, sends it back to Dooney, keeps possession. That's very good. O'Riordan over the top with Dolan approaching on it, another half volley, but it was straight at the goalkeeper and he parries it out wide. It's a throw in for us. Dooney down the right hand side gets a good cross in, and that was a really good header, and again it's Sangaré. He's just an absolute machine for us at the moment. But it was a really good move down this right hand side from the throw in. Dooney into Dolan, back to Dooney, first time cross, and Sangaré with the header and catches everybody by surprise and puts it into that far corner. And we have a 2-goal lead with a 2-man lead, and it's time's ticking. And surely we've survived this amazing season of battling relegation. And there's another brilliant shot, but it comes off the woodwork, and Turner with the follow-up goes wide of the post. And we're really piling on the pressure now. And we have survived in the Premier Division of Ireland, having lost the first dozen games in a row. And we've battled and battled to get to this point of the season. And again, Hurley comes forward from midfield, cuts it into Curran, who was completely unmarked at that point, and it's 3-0. And we can now start properly celebrating. And I think the players do. Look at that happy bunch of players having come back from the real disaster of the first half of the season, and really found some good form here and there in the second half of the season. Hurley this time with the last pass in to Curran, who takes it in his stride and puts it home for a 3-0 win. And Cobh Ramblers, who have struggled all season long, are going to find that last minute opportunity to save themselves, and we do. We comfortably win the game, having Shelbourne shot themselves in the foot by having those 2 players sent off. And how are we going to approach this? We're going to passionately say, excuse me, my voice is going all of a sudden. We got what we wanted? No, we're not going to say that. Well done, your performance ensures survival. I'm very pleased with the result and the performance. That's the only thing we can say, isn't it, really? It was properly good at the right point, and we piled on the pressure. And look at that. We saved ourselves in the last couple of months of the season, and we are 3 points clear of that relegation zone. Sligo and Shelbourne go down, and Cobh Ramblers stay in the Premier Division of Ireland for another season. Let's go and see what the newsfeed say. We avoided relegation. We avoid relegation. Sangaré has been paid a bonus because we avoided relegation. There you go. Cobh Ramblers confirm best ever Premier Division finish. Sangaré on form for Cobh Ramblers. Cobh Ramblers receive some money, which is most needed. It's not even going to clear the debt that the club's in at the moment, but we'll see what happens with that. You can see it's halved the debt that the club were in currently. So there we go. That is the end of season 3, and we survived with Cobh Ramblers. And you can see that there's an awful lot of ground to make up in the Premier Division for them to survive next season and then even potentially move forward. But here's my thought. I've been talking for a while about whether we stay or we go. If we'd have got relegated, I would have walked away because I didn't want to have to go back down a division. I think I would have achieved all I could with Ramblers at that point and then decided to move on. And I've actually made that same decision at this point, even though we've survived. I don't think I can do better with this club at this point than having survived this particular season. I think the finances of the club, etc., the fact that we don't have the best playing staff at this precise moment for this level, I think it's going to make even next season quite hard. So I think I've reached the pinnacle of what I can achieve with Cobh Ramblers, and I'm really happy with what I achieved with them. We got them up far earlier than we thought we would, and we stayed up just in that last minute. So that puts them on a sound footing for some, moving forward for themselves next season. But I am now going to resign from Cobh Ramblers, and next episode I will come back and reveal who it is that we're going to be managing next. I've got no idea. I don't know what jobs are out there. I haven't even looked. I'm going to resign from this club. I'm going to let that settle, and then I'm going to hunt for a job over the next little while in terms of my time. And then by next episode, I won't put you through the searching for a club. I will come back and I will show you who it is that we've moved on to and why we've moved on to them, and what our intentions are for season 4, wherever that might be. And of course, the way that this particular Irish division works is that it runs from January through to October, November time. So you see we're in October now. So if I resign from this job, it might be that we go straight into another job potentially, for a club that's still got half a season to go through till like May time. So let's just go and check in with the job centre at the moment. You can see that there are some jobs around there, particularly in England at this point, one in Scotland. So I'm going to have a look through some of them and see what's available to us potentially. And I'm going to apply for one or two possibly. We're going to check in and see what's also might be coming up in terms of very insecure. You can see there's quite a few insecure and very insecure jobs there. So we might have a chance at a new club fairly quickly, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. As I say, I won't put you through that. I will go through that myself. Come next episode, we will be at Club 2, Episode 1, wherever that club is and wherever they are in the league systems, I don't know. So I hope you'll join me for that. I hope you're excited by the potential of doing something new in this save and continuing our journey to the top. The ultimate goal, of course, for this series as a journeyman save is for me not to get a club to the top, it's just to get myself to the top somehow by getting to ultimately the English Premier Division and managing one of those top 6 sort of clubs. And the end of this series will happen the very first time that I get to a Champions League final. It will be one Champions League final. If I win it or lose it, doesn't matter. That will be the end of the series. So that's what we're heading towards. And you can see we've got a long way to go, having just been able to rise from the First Division to the Premier Division in Ireland with Cobh Ramblers. And now moving on to club number 2, wherever that might be, we've got quite a way to go. So I hope you'll continue to join me for it. I hope you're enjoying the series so far. If you are, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me stay motivated to make my content where I can see people are connecting to it and wanting to watch it and join the channel. And if you subscribe to the channel, obviously that will keep you up to date with the videos, which will be really important. So click that notification symbol as well. If you enjoyed this particular episode, and I loved it because we survived and we weren't supposed to, but if you did enjoy it, please click that like button. It really helps me get seen by other people in the YouTube algorithms by putting me higher up in search functions whenever people are looking for Football Manager content. So please help me by pressing that like button. If you're playing Football Manager yourself, I hope you're having a great time doing it. I'm loving this version of Football Manager. So far this series has been great, and the other series I've run so far have been great too. So I'm loving it. If you are, tell me about your stories in the comments below. Always interested to hear what you're up to. But until next time, wherever we may end up, I hope you're having a great time with me. Till next time, take care of yourselves. I will see you soon, and bye for now.